Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. Today's video is going to contain my first completion and first epithet clear for the A Wish to the Winds facility event. I am recording this a bit early, so this is actually the day after the previous recording I did of my initial attempt. And the footage you're seeing now is my first attempt of the challenge battle for the facility event. So I wanted to make this video to show the sense of progress that you really have when playing these events. And I know that it's unfortunate that there's no co-op available. I did double check on that, and that's only for the extra boss battle and not for the challenge battle. But at the same time, I do appreciate, like I said, the sense of personal achievement and growth you get playing this event. I will say it's not all personal, but some of it does come down to skill and learning the patterns. So I think that part is very skill-based. But at the same time, the event facility makes a huge difference in the damage output you deal. So you'll see the first time in the footage now, my attempt was a bit of a floundering one. I really struggled thinking I would start off with Ronzel, had auto battle on by mistake, and in the end, my damage was just too low. I was also walking through the bog. I wasn't really paying attention to the map and the enemies that were spawning. So I think both from learning the event and then leveling up your facility, you can slowly start to do much better. And I really think it's realistic for most players to be able to get the epithet, or at the very least to be able to clear the challenge battle. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to record the first time I cleared the challenge battle. But because of that, right afterward, I decided for all of my subsequent attempts, I was going to record and make sure that I captured my completion, which means a Deathless run, and then my epithet run, which is that timed run where you have to defeat the boss within a certain time limit. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's just a little something fun, like I said, to show how you can really make progress in this event. For my completion, my facility was at level 16, and for my timed run, my facility was at level 21. The other thing that helped a ton was having Maribelle as a helper. I think both her and Eileen are really good with their AoE at getting through the wave, particularly the one with the snakes, because those can be pretty tanky and annoying to deal with. So that helped a lot, and it also helped reduce the boss's defense. Without further ado, I'll let you enjoy those videos. I'm going to crank up the music and head out. This is a holiday week in the US, so I am preparing this video early, like I said. This is just the day after my initial attempt, so that much progress that quickly is really cool. I'm going to enjoy grinding out the rest of the event during my vacation, and I hope that if you're in the States, you have a happy Thanksgiving as well and enjoy your break if you have one. Otherwise, just a reminder that the Gleam link is in the description below. That's for a $10 Google Play or App Store gift card. That's going to close this Thursday, so if you haven't entered already, feel free to do so. With that, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Surprise everyone, I am back. So originally I was going to let the rest of the gameplay play itself out, but the footage actually contained music by Dauko, of course, which is in the game, but because I wasn't talking over it, that upload was getting blocked. So what I decided to do is go ahead and talk over it, and I'll post a link in the description below to Dauko's original audio. Definitely feel free to click on that and support her. Check out her music. If you like the music from this event like I did, then you might like her upcoming album, which is releasing this December. If you pre-order that, this is in no way sponsored, of course, but if you pre-order that, there is some limited Dragalia Lost merchandise you can get alongside that. I know I haven't pre-ordered, and I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, I thought that given I have to speak during this time, and I hadn't planned on going too in-depth with my thoughts on the event in a separate video, while these challenge attempts play out, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of my thoughts on A Wish to the Winds as compared to the previous facility event for Halloween, and just give you my overall impressions. So I liked A Wish to the Winds. Here are a couple of good things right off the bat. One is they lowered the ceiling on terms of total items that you need to collect. Previously, you needed to get up to 1,400,000 trick-or-treats, and in this event the equivalent of those are those Gale wins, and now you only need to get up to 1 million, and they've kind of made the rewards more compact, where at each milestone you're getting more things. I think that's a very good thing. And in terms of the treasure trade for the event as well, there's now outlets, like I mentioned in my previous video. There's outlets for your extra wind whistle grass. In the first event, there were no outlets for extra snack-o-lanterns. There was nothing left in the treasure trade for those who did extra grinding or needed extra grinding to get up to 1,400,000 and had leftover materials. So both of those are definitely positives. In terms of the story as well, like I said previously, the story was very simple but very cute, and I think it was endearing and painted all of the characters presented, Garuda, Lowen, and Luis, in a pretty favorable and positive light. Besides that, there were more castle stories. Always a good thing. You get Wyrmite from viewing those, and they're one of the few places where we get interactions between vastly different characters, and gives you some insight into the craziness and silliness that happens within the Halidom. Moving on from there though, the one big issue I have that I want to bring up, and I know a lot of you have been thinking about this and it's been affecting you, has to be the balance right now between co-op and single player, and specifically the use of wings versus stamina. Over the past couple of weeks, starting with the double wing recovery event and then getting into the half stamina event on Elemental Ruins, I found that it's much harder to spend wings and find rooms successfully. And this is a problem, I think, for a number of reasons that I'm going to get into, and I'm also going to provide 3 ideas for solutions. So, for starters, players are smart about how they spend their wings and how they spend their stamina. When it's more efficient to spend wings than to spend stamina on something, people are going to do that. And when enough people do that, it's going to make it so no one can find a room. So the example I'll give for this, which is one of the contributions to the problem, is I mentioned those time-limited events like Half Stamina Ruins earlier. Everyone wants and knows they need to spend stamina on ruins for things like ores, which are hard to grind up currently. And because of that, they're using all their stamina on those ruins, and, well, with what they have left, which are wings, they're trying to join. Players are trying to do the thing that's strategically optimal, and unfortunately that's created this mismatch. The same is true of the challenge battle in the current event. That can only be played with stamina. So if you're trying to grind out the event, well, you're going to dump all your stamina into that, and then you're going to spend all your wings on the boss battle, because you can't spend wings on the challenge event. So besides that though, I think there is one other underlying issue, and that is players are getting stronger. That means they're less reliant on co-op. So people who might have hosted before because they needed teammates in order to successfully clear content, they don't need to host anymore. Even though there are some situations with avenue maps and ruins where you're more likely to find a rare enemy in co-op than in single player, so people will sometimes host for that reason if they value the rare enemy more than adventure EXP. Even despite that, for other maps, if you're able to clear Imperial Onslaught on your own, there's no incentive to host right now. In particular for Dragon Trials and Imperial Onslaught, because there's no rare enemy, and as far as I'm aware, there's no extra incentives for hosting, or at least they're not very publicized if there are any. Everybody wants to join and not to host. Just brainstorming about it over the past week or so, here are some of the things that I think could help improve the situation. Number 1, let us use wings on our skip tickets. That would help a lot with people who have that situation where they have 12 or more wings overflowing and don't have a way to quickly diminish those because they're waiting around in lobbies. The second thing I want to mention is, when it comes to special events, balance the stamina and wing changes that are being made. So when we got half stamina Elemental Ruins in Isolation, and when we got double wing recovery in Isolation, we ended up with these mismatches, in my opinion. And I'll also say, for events like the challenge battle, if we're going to have content that is single player only, consider letting us spin wings to do that content instead of stamina. The drawback to both this and the skip ticket idea is that if people have access to that, they're less likely potentially to join multiplayer rooms, so we could end up in the opposite situation where hosts hosts have to wait a very long time. But my final idea is this, and I think that would help out a lot with the problem as well. We need to increase the rewards for hosting. It may be the case, as was in the previous raid, that hosts are getting some type of increased rewards, and I'm not aware of that, but it certainly isn't advertised that way, or I haven't really seen that publicized very much. So if that's not the case, I think if you're the host, there should be some type of extra incentive for that. And especially as the game gets older, the player base is more experienced, more capable of taking down the content. That genuinely gives a reason for hosts to host and not just do single player. So those are my 3 ideas. Nothing too revolutionary, I know, but I just wanted to be able to talk about that, talk about what I liked about the event and that big issue, just some thoughts on it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this bit of dialogue as the gameplay concluded. I'm going to continue grinding out the event, so take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.